Every car salesman tells you about warranty coverage and peace of mind, but nobody mentions the financial cliff waiting on day one after that warranty expires. What if I told you that manufacturers engineer catastrophic failures to hit right when you're no longer protected? That's not conspiracy theory. Luxury brands see maintenance costs quadruple the moment factory coverage ends. Imagine celebrating your final payment only to face a $15,000 repair bill the next month. In this video, I'm exposing the 10 modern cars engineered to financially destroy owners after warranty, counting down from number 10 to the absolute worst offender. And trust me, number 1 combines every nightmare scenario into a single vehicle that mechanics call the worst financial decision you can make. Watch until the end, because this isn't just buyer's remorse. This is the difference between smart car ownership and complete financial ruin. Number 10. Nissan Rogue, Altima, in Murano with Jaguar CVT. The Nissan lineup built after 2010 seems affordable until you understand what's ticking inside. These high-volume models all share the same continuously variable transmission manufactured by Jaguar, and this unit has become infamous for catastrophic failure under normal driving stress. The CVT works differently than traditional transmissions, using a belt system instead of gears to improve fuel economy. That sounds innovative until the belt starts slipping or the transmission overheats during highway driving. When these units fail, they don't give warning. One day you're driving normally, the next day the transmission is shuddering violently or the car refuses to move at all. Here's where the financial trap closes. Nissan designed these transmissions as sealed units, meaning component-level repair is essentially impossible. The entire transmission needs replacement, and that costs between $3,500 and $6,000 out of pocket. For an aging Nissan Rogue worth maybe $8,000, you're looking at a repair that consumes half to three-quarters of the vehicle's entire market value. Second owners get hit hardest because the CVT failures typically occur between 70,000 and 120,000 miles, right when the original warranty has long expired and the car has changed hands. You bought what seemed like a practical, fuel-efficient crossover, and instead you're facing a repair bill that makes keeping the car economically irrational. Number 9. Jaguar E-PACE. Jaguar's attempt to compete in the compact luxury crossover market created a vehicle that mechanics across Europe have flagged as one of the most problematic modern cars for reliability. The E-PACE looks sleek and promises that British luxury experience, but underneath the styling lies a cascade of electrical nightmares and mechanical failures. The most documented issue involves water ingress into the electrical system. Jaguar's engineers apparently didn't properly seal critical electrical components, which means water finds its way into places it should never reach. When moisture shorts out control modules and wiring harnesses, the entire vehicle can shut down without warning. Replacing these electrical systems isn't cheap because Jaguar uses proprietary components that can only be sourced through the dealer network. Beyond the electrical gremlins, the E-PACE suffers from engine problems that range from minor oil leaks to complete engine failure depending on severity. The turbocharged engines show premature wear, and the repair costs reflect Jaguar's positioning as a premium brand, even though the reliability doesn't match that price point. What makes the E-PACE particularly brutal is the depreciation curve combined with high repair costs. These vehicles lose value faster than almost any other luxury crossover, which means by the time major problems appear, you're facing $5,000 to $15,000 repairs on a vehicle worth maybe $20,000. The math simply doesn't work for owners caught in this situation. Number 8. Buick Encore and Chevrolet Trax. General Motors marketed these compact crossovers as affordable entry points into the SUV segment, perfect for budget-conscious buyers who needed space without breaking the bank. What GM didn't advertise was the highly stressed 1.4-liter turbocharged engine carrying multiple catastrophic failure points. The problems start with head gasket failure. This engine design allows coolant to leak into places it shouldn't go, which leads to overheating and potential engine destruction. If the coolant level drops too low, head gasket replacement requires extensive engine disassembly, and costs anywhere from $2,000 to $4,000, depending on how much damage occurred before the problem was caught. Then there's the turbocharger itself. The seals fail prematurely, allowing oil to leak into the intake system. The wastegate cracks under thermal stress. These aren't isolated incidents. They're documented patterns affecting thousands of vehicles across both the Encore and Trax lineups from 2013 through 2022. But wait, there's more. The transmission and differential also show widespread failure. Owners report shuddering during acceleration, complete transmission failure, and differential problems that require replacement of major drivetrain components. Each of these failures costs between $2,000 and $4,000 to address. The financial devastation comes from the cumulative effect. It's not one massive $10,000 failure. It's a series of $3,000 to $5,000 repairs hitting in rapid succession. You fix the head gasket, then 6 months later, the turbo fails. Then the transmission starts shuddering. Before you realize what's happening, you've dumped $8,000 into a vehicle that might be worth $10,000 if you're lucky. Number 7, Ford Escape, Edge, and EcoSport with EcoBoost engines. Ford's EcoBoost marketing promised better fuel economy without sacrificing power through small, turbocharged engines. What Ford delivered was a generation of engines prone to head gasket failure and catastrophic coolant consumption across their most popular vehicle lineup. The 1.5-liter and 2.0-liter EcoBoost engines suffer from a specific head gasket design flaw that allows coolant to leak internally. This isn't a minor seepage, it's a complete failure that causes rapid coolant loss and potential engine destruction through overheating. Even worse, coolant can enter the combustion chamber, causing hydrolock that instantly destroys the engine's internal components. These failures appear across model years from 2013 all the way to current production in some cases. That means Ford identified the problem, but continued selling vehicles with the same flawed design because retooling would cost more than handling warranty claims and letting out-of-warranty owners fend for themselves. When the head gasket fails outside warranty coverage, you're looking at $4,000 to $8,000 for repairs. That cost depends on whether the engine block warped from overheating, whether the pistons or connecting rods suffered damage from hydrolock, and how quickly you caught the problem. Many owners don't realize coolant is disappearing until the engine is already critically damaged. Ford positioned these vehicles as practical family transportation. The Escape and Edge are everywhere on American roads, which means hundreds of thousands of families are driving around with this same failure waiting to happen. The EcoSport brings the same problematic engines to an even more budget-conscious segment where owners absolutely cannot afford four-figure repair bills. Number 6, Mercedes-Benz E-Class and S-Class with Airmatic suspension. Mercedes-Benz built its reputation on engineering excellence and comfort, and the Airmatic suspension system delivers incredible ride quality by using compressed air instead of traditional springs. That comfort comes with a brutal financial cost when components inevitably fail after the warranty expires. The Airmatic system includes air springs at each corner, a central air compressor, a complex valve block that routes air pressure, and multiple electronic sensors monitoring height and pressure. Every single one of these components represents a potential failure point, and Mercedes designed them as expensive proprietary parts that can only be replaced as complete assemblies. When one air spring develops a leak, which happens frequently after 5 to 7 years, the compressor runs constantly trying to maintain pressure. This overworks the compressor, causing it to fail prematurely. Now you need both a new air spring and a new compressor. Just the compressor replacement costs between $1,700 and $2,000. Each air spring runs around $2,500 to replace. Because the system is interconnected, failures cascade. A weak compressor causes the valve block to work harder. A leaking air spring puts stress on the remaining 3 corners. Before long, you're facing a complete system overhaul that can easily exceed $5,000, and that's just for suspension. Mercedes maintenance costs average over $10,000 for a 10-year ownership period, according to comprehensive surveys, and Airmatic suspension is a primary driver of those costs. The system is so expensive to maintain that many owners eventually convert to traditional coil springs just to escape the ongoing financial liability, even though that conversion itself costs thousands of dollars. Number 5. Range Rover Velar. Land Rover's newest generation of luxury SUVs proves that modern engineering hasn't solved the fundamental reliability problems that have plagued the brand for decades. The Range Rover Velar combines stunning design with a reliability record so catastrophic that mechanics and insurers call it the single worst vehicle for owners to purchase. The Velar suffers from problems across every major system. The drivetrain shows premature failures, requiring replacement of expensive all-wheel drive components. The electrical system develops faults that are incredibly difficult to diagnose because of the vehicle's complexity. The engines experience problems ranging from minor oil leaks to complete failure depending on which powertrain variant you chose. What makes the Velar particularly devastating is the combination of astronomical repair costs and brutal depreciation. These vehicles lose value faster than almost anything else in the luxury segment, which means by the time major problems appear, you own a $40,000 vehicle that needs $15,000 in repairs. The math forces many owners into trading the vehicle at a massive loss just to escape the financial liability. Repair costs on the Velar run extreme even by Land Rover standards because of the vehicle's modern complexity. Everything connects to everything else through electronic control modules, which means diagnosing problems requires specialized equipment and expertise. The parts themselves carry premium pricing because of Land Rover's position as a luxury brand, and the labor hours pile up because of how difficult these vehicles are to work on. European mechanics who see these vehicles regularly report repair frequencies that exceed almost any other modern car. Things that should be reliable, door handles, climate control systems, infotainment screens, fail regularly and cost hundreds or thousands of dollars to replace. Combine those nickel and dime problems with major drivetrain and suspension failures, and you're looking at constant financial bleeding that never stops. If you're finding this information valuable, hit that subscribe button now, because I release videos every week exposing the automotive industry's secrets that dealerships don't want you to know. Number 4. BMW 3 Series, 2 Series, and X3 with N20 engine. BMW's entry-level luxury models from 2012 through 2016 used a turbocharged 4-cylinder engine designated N20 that mechanics now recognize as one of the most financially devastating power plants in modern automotive history. The core problem centers on timing chain guide failure, but the real catastrophe comes from how BMW engineered the engine to make repairs impossibly expensive. The timing chain guides are plastic components that keep the metal timing chain running in its correct path. Under normal operation, these guides wear down, but in the N20 engine, they fail prematurely, often before 100,000 miles. When the guides disintegrate, the timing chain stretches or jumps position. If the chain breaks completely, the pistons crash into the valves, instantly destroying the entire engine. Here's where BMW's engineering philosophy creates financial disaster. Most engines mount the timing chain at the front of the engine where it's relatively accessible. BMW put the N20's timing chain at the rear of the engine block, tucked against the firewall. This means you cannot simply remove a front cover to access the chain. Instead, the entire engine must be lifted, tilted, or in many cases, completely removed from the vehicle just to reach the failing components. The timing chain kit parts might cost $500, but the labor to access those parts can run 50 to 70 hours at shop rates, pushing total repair costs to $3,500 at the low end and over $7,000 if the chain failure caused internal engine damage. You're paying for BMW's design decision to prioritize compact engine packaging over maintenance accessibility. Owners of the F33 series, F22 2 series, and related X3 models all face the same risk. These were BMW's highest volume sellers during those model years, which means hundreds of thousands of vehicles are either ticking time bombs or have already exploded financially on their second or third owners. Number 3. Porsche Cayenne, 958 generation in Panamera. Porsche's 10-year maintenance costs average over $14,000 according to comprehensive ownership surveys, and the Cayenne 958 generation demonstrates exactly why those costs run so extreme. Two specific systems create catastrophic financial liability: the transfer case and the PDK dual-clutch transmission. The transfer case is the component that splits power between front and rear axles in all-wheel drive systems. In the Cayenne, this unit develops shuddering during turns and eventually fails completely. The replacement isn't something independent shops can handle with aftermarket parts. You need the Porsche dealer network. The cost ranges from $4,400 to $6,300 for a transfer case replacement, and that's for a component that should last the vehicle's lifetime under normal circumstances. But the PDK transmission represents the real financial nightmare. Porsche's dual-clutch automated manual transmission provides lightning-fast shifts and excellent performance. But when anything goes wrong, the repair strategy is total replacement. The transmission is designed as a sealed, non-serviceable unit. Even minor electronic component failures, a distance sensor, a solenoid, a control module, often result in dealerships refusing component-level repair and instead mandating a complete transmission replacement. That replacement cost frequently exceeds $25,000. Read that again. $25,000 for a transmission replacement on a vehicle that might be worth $60,000 to $80,000 used. It's not quite an economic total loss, but it's close enough that many owners seriously consider walking away rather than paying the ransom. Porsche creates this situation intentionally through design choices that prioritize dealer revenue over owner affordability. The PDK could be designed for component-level serviceability, but that would reduce the catastrophic repair costs that drive profit. Specialized independent Porsche shops have proven they can replace individual sensors or solenoids for a fraction of the cost. But most owners don't know these shops exist until after the dealer has already quoted the full replacement cost. The Cayenne's combination of transfer case failure and PDK liability means you're facing potential $10,000 to $30,000 repairs on a vehicle that was already expensive to purchase. This is luxury complexity risk at its most extreme. Every sophisticated system becomes a financial weapon pointed at your wallet the moment the warranty expires. Number 2. Hyundai Sonata and Kia Optima with Theta 2 engine. The Theta 2 engine disaster represents the largest automotive safety crisis and financial catastrophe affecting high-volume affordable cars in recent history. Between 2011 and 2019, Hyundai and Kia sold millions of Sonatas and Optimas with 2.0-liter and 2.4-liter engines that contained a manufacturing defect so severe it led to massive recalls, class action lawsuits, and even federal investigation for how the companies handled the crisis. The problem originated at the Alabama manufacturing facility during crankshaft machining. Metal debris from the machining process was left inside the engines, rather than being properly cleaned. This debris circulated through the oil system, eventually blocking oil passages and starving critical components, like connecting rod bearings of lubrication. Without oil, the bearings seize, the connecting rods break, and the entire engine destroys itself violently. These failures happen while driving. The engine seizes at highway speeds, causing loss of power steering and braking assist. In hundreds of documented cases, the engines caught fire after failure, putting occupants at risk. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration investigated after the companies allegedly delayed recalls and failed to properly address the scope of the problem. For owners outside recall coverage or those who bought used vehicles after the recalls, the only solution is complete engine replacement. Depending on the repair shop and whether you use a remanufactured or new engine, costs range from $5,000 for a basic Riemann installation to over $10,000 for a new factory engine with proper installation. Number 1. Land Rover, Range Rover, and Range Rover Sport. The most expensive brand to maintain over 10 years according to comprehensive consumer surveys, Land Rover earns that distinction through a perfect storm of catastrophic engine failures, complex suspension systems, and pervasive electrical problems that combine to create the most financially devastating vehicle ownership experience available today. Let's start with the 3.0-liter V6 diesel engine found across Range Rover and Sport models from approximately 2008 through 2022. This engine suffers from a fundamental casting defect in the crankshaft bearing surfaces. Poor manufacturing tolerances lead to inadequate oil clearances, which causes oil starvation at the critical big-end bearings. Over time, this deficiency generates excessive heat and wear until the crankshaft literally fractures in half. A fractured crankshaft means complete engine replacement. There is no repair option. The cost runs between $10,000 and $20,000, depending on the specific model and whether you use a remanufactured or new engine. Even for a Range Rover that cost $80,000 to $100,000 new, facing a $20,000 engine replacement 5 to 7 years after purchase is devastating. But the engine is just the beginning. Land Rover's complex air suspension system fails constantly. Height sensors malfunction. Air springs develop leaks. The compressor burns out from overuse. The valve block fails electronically. Each component costs thousands to replace, and the failures cascade because the system components stress each other when one piece isn't functioning correctly. Then there's the electrical system, which mechanics describe as among the most unreliable and difficult to diagnose in modern vehicles. Sensors throw codes for problems that don't exist. Control modules fail and require reprogramming that only dealers can perform. Wiring harnesses develop faults that take hours to trace. The infotainment system crashes. The climate control fails. Every electronic convenience that makes the Range Rover luxurious becomes a potential repair bill. Consumer data shows maintenance costs in the first 5 years averaging $4,250, which is already high. But in years 6 through 10, those costs explode to $15,000. That massive spike proves these failures aren't random bad luck. They're engineered into the vehicle's life cycle. The sophisticated systems that define the Range Rover experience are designed to fail the moment factory warranty coverage expires. These 10 vehicles prove that warranty expiration isn't just the end of free repairs. It's the beginning of financial warfare between you and your car. If you want to avoid this nightmare entirely, click the video on your screen right now about the 37 most reliable cars that never need repairs. Because staying away from these disasters means choosing what actually works.